Well, good morning, video audience. I'm glad I can be awake and aware of my surroundings in an America where it's allowed to say that slavery is not great, actually. This morning, I was asked to get up and actually thank someone who was involved in taking students and making them into slaves through psychotronics technology. I've actually been asked to thank them within the last few days for sure, and I'm worried that's where this is going today. Is some creep's gonna ask that of me, and I'm just going, creeps, go away. Go away, creeps who need us thankful for our slavery. Go away. Go away, creeps, go away. And so this morning I was thinking about extraterrestrial contact again. I'm an extraterrestrial contactee from Portland, Oregon, and I was just thinking, how would the viewers out there feel if you felt, if you learned Gina Haspel wants to be able to tell you what to do without a contract? Because I'm a person from Oregon with no contract with Gina Haspel. And frankly, I'm tempted to describe her as reprobate Gina Haspel, because the extraterrestrial alleged to me she has knowledge of what? I went, she has knowledge of what, extraterrestrial? She has knowledge of what there? And so I'm just glad to be alive today after I think this last half a decade has been pretty insane. And right now I'm worried about information warfare in our country. I'm really worried how it's connected to psychic warfare too. And I'm not prepared to do an ad for this shirt, but I'm not prepared to do an ad against this brand either. Frankly, everything I'm trying on a comparing brand of thermal underwear, and I know this is going with my show and keeping it going, is I can't do everything ad supported or donation supported. So yesterday I was thinking about a Garthans. And I remember they're not a dangerous human group to me, but they're connected to the Andromeda machine, I thought. Others out there have alleged a controversial UFO called the Andromeda machine, and I know I've got to get got to get my presentation app working right now. I can edit like a slide of like, here's the Andromeda machine and what it looks like in there, because there have been documents that leaked about it. There's documents floating around that seem to depict an Andromeda machine. So what do intelligence experts say about this? Because I remember we don't have a contract with Gina Haspel this morning. And that's what got me started recording this morning is, you're not the dictator of all Americans, Gina Haspel. You're not the owner of all Americans. You can't be like, I'm your slave master. I'm Gina Haspel on your plantation. I'm thinking of like a whip in my, I got type of the whip in my mind here, and I'm just having, you can't crack the whip on us. Here's how I want you to work, Gina Haspel. I mean, pull your head out of your ass, Gina Haspel. Pull your head out of your ass. Your head is so far up your ass. Because even non-Christian, because, and I know, oh, and I'm going to just roll my eyes here if somebody says, Brian, you sound like Kamala Harris, because I'm going, I'm not a registered Democrat. What's wrong with that? Is that slavery's not great, actually? What's wrong with that? I'm so sorry what's going on with politics in our country and the socialists in our country, because I was about astonished when someone told me the Democrats sometimes find that they have right-wing intersectionality. I remember what intersectionality is this morning. Democrats sometimes find right-wing intersectionality. It's like, this is moderate Democrats sometimes are going, no, we're moderates, and we have right-wing intersectionality. And I'm going, you kidding me? Do you yell at Cynthia Nixon's office or something? Or are these the ones Justice Democrats call corrupt corporate Democrats? When I see what's going on with divide and conquer in our country's politics, I get so frustrated. I get so frustrated with divide and conquer in our country's politics, because, sometimes bipartisan and compromise gets a Republican to go, what, transparency, that's good for me in my America. Why is my America, my America gets the same facts as your America on the data sheet. Why can't we have transparency? So I'm Brian Tess. I'm an advocate for transparency in government this morning. I remember that I'm an advocate in transparency for government. Transparency in government. And I'm basically sorting out today which strangers are imposing what expectations on me. It's like I feel like a stranger's trying to impose expectations on me this morning. And so I just thought I'd start a morning broadcast. It's like as I'm thinking about the other psychics out there, I'm going, all right. I'm a person who engages with psychic functioning in my home all day, every day. And I feel like extraterrestrials are affecting my psychic functioning. I have the subjective experience of extraterrestrial beings. And frankly, they tell me that they were capitalists this morning. I have to go right to the heart of the matter for some creep at the Defense Intelligence Agency. So basically, this is addressed to you, the creep of the Defense Intelligence Agency. In some level. And I feel like the angry soul of a scientist was just moving through here. I don't know if I've been introduced to this scientist. Like I just had the angry soul of a scientist moving through here. I'm not completely devoted to the sciences, but I don't reject all science. Obviously, the flowchart in my mind kind of goes, obviously, science is controversial between scientists, and so scientists reject each other, or science reject each other's science sometimes. I certainly don't reject all science. I'm not going to sing the song where science is real. I remember that one from somewhere this morning. And Agarthans get angry sometimes. I was just thinking about Agarthans, and they get angry sometimes. And if you ever feel like you're encountering Agarthans who are associated with Norse magic, you must not try to enforce a Jewish soul matrix on them. They're with apologies to Semyasi's clan, they're from the same genetic group as Orthon, to my understanding, as Orthon from the George Adamski case. And it wasn't allowed to let Billy Meyer constantly have, and now I'm switching to the George Adamski lands, what's going on with George Adamski case in the United States of America. If they're believed to be associated with FIGU of California. Obviously, I'm not a spokesperson for FIGU, but I thought I saw Playarn once. I certainly don't feel like the George Adamski case is out to get FIGU in California, but that's where it goes with I'm sorry, was I just talking about information warfare in America? How stupid are the viewers? And I'm putting on my top, I don't call it top Navy thinkers hat. In the U.S. Navy, I'm putting on my top Navy thinkers hat. Is how top Navy thinkers are going. It's like, yeah, pal, I'm almost going to say from our hell. And they do when they let Bill pet them. They just let them say anything on the camera, and then Bill pets them. So basically, when you see Agarthans of the Norse gods are like that. They aren't like screwing over everything that's not Norse. And so basically, this morning when I had extraterrestrial contact, and I was checking telepathically, none of the extraterrestrials specifically affirmed to me that we have exploitation in our society based on wage labor in a lower class. This was not affirmed to me in any specific way. And some people believe in Lemurians. I mean, what's a Lemurian mean to you? Does that mean like an entire person just appears and can come flying out of the walls? I mean, people believe in this. And what if I was just thinking about scientists and the scientists. What if I told you sometimes a real transdimensional field is associated with subjective experience of Lemurians? And I had, someone had the subjective experience of what they would call a Lemurian, like a Lemurian psychic experience, which isn't all based on the flower of life. And what some experience as Jewish symbolism, it's not all based on the flower of life. And while people will feel like Lemurians tolerate Merkaba mysticism, there has to be at least, in my mind, there has to be at least one who is not in Merkaba mysticism. Which sometimes can coincide with the forcing of Jewish dogma. And this is what made me sigh. This is what made me sigh, where I'm going. I mean, if something from Jewish dogma is real to you, so something from Jewish dogma is real to you, so be it. But I mean, it's basically, here we go with. If once I remember I puzzled over a Jewish psychic emanation I experienced, where I'm going, if there are Orthodox Jewish ways or ultra-Orthodox Jewish ways and Bohemian Jewish ways, why is it forbidden to speak of Jewish ways if there are different ways of different Jews? And this Jew's not Orthodox is a Bohemian Jew, so all their suffering belongs to them. To ultra-Orthodox, and basically this is leveraged right at you, Creep, the Defense Intelligence Agency. This is leveraged right at you. You're not in Orthodox Jewish ways. And so somewhere in Israel, some guy is going to have all your suffering is your fault. And this started happening to me when I wanted to learn about the Moses Hess Ashkenazi side of the Hess family. That was Karl Marx's best friend, was Moses Hess. And I know when my beard grows to kind of a stubble, and my hair is getting longer, I almost kind of resemble Moses Hess in some ways. But I'm not from the Ashkenazi Jewish side of the family. Here we go with God's chosen people and controversies between Jews. I'm sure it's not an easy topic to cover. This is a sad topic for me to cover, but I mean, if people think that spirit scientists and the spirit sciences are invalid, like please go away from me. Please go away, because I feel like I have the subjective experience of psychic emanations associated with spiritual experience, and it's real to me. And what the extraterrestrials tells me there's a transdimensional field associated with it, and that's just amazing to me. It's just amazing that there's transdimensional field associated with spirit experience. So I almost want to do a meditation where I can sense like my energy this morning. Because I'm a person from Portland, Oregon, who works with what someone called my vril energy, and I've been connecting with the Garthans about that for years. Right, Hindus call that energy prana, and I think most Westerners mispronounce the Chinese word, it's ki. It's ki. Most Westerners pronounce it chi. I've noticed, and I was corrected on the correct Chinese pronunciation once after it was introduced to me as chi by a Westerner, fellow Westerner. It was many years ago. I was older than 10, but not quite 16. When I remember being introduced to the concept of my divine key, but I didn't start working with it right away because I didn't know. Thankfully, I was agnostic at the time. What do I believe about spirit? And so, for those out there in my audience, this is leveraged at the Psychic Creeps. I mean, what does it mean to be all-American to you? If somebody told me that they're all-American, what does that mean? What does that mean to you? Because if there are different information warfare campaigns with different goals, that has to be allowed to be talked about under the First Amendment. I'm pretty sure a lawyer's going to tell you that. I'm already going, all right, so you're going to threaten psychic warfare. No, this is like, uh-oh. So somebody in the army is going to threaten psychic warfare with you. They're threatening to have you punished psychically if we're talking about information warfare, without even the assistance of psychotronics. I'm thinking of someone from Colorado who is in my past who seems to be engaged in a mind war with the public. I just notice I'm feeling shame right now. I'm feeling shame thinking of a person who seems to be engaging in a mind war with the public. And I don't even want to go into not just the capitalist public. I don't want to go there. Putting on my how to top non-capitalist thinkers think, how do their thought processes work, putting on that hat and trying to understand their mindset. And so my understanding for these online circles I don't interact with anymore is if I said an extraterrestrial from Sirius A that they didn't depict to me class exploitation, like if they had like a helper being, where there was a being with like a really large cranium involved in Sirius A, and there was a being with like I was going to say like a medium cranium like myself, and I had like a little helper being with like a smaller cranium who was maybe smarter than a dog. I almost want to say like a different genetic chain is sometimes depicted to people in the public, which has some genetic similarities to what I call Sirius A. I mean, I can see how there's like an ethical challenge there, but it's like, is that what substitutes for the lower class? Is this trained helper being? Because once they're that advanced, they could develop like a biological robot, like humans have been alleged to have developed to me by the Syrians. I mean, they could do that. Instead of a lower class, we have these labor bots. It's like, why do I need to have a lower class to exploit for wage labor in some kind of a market organized on? I'm trying to remember. I didn't even ask them how the markets are organized or how I don't want to call it commercial activity, but how exchange is orchestrated or how exchange works in their society yet. Because obviously exchange of goods and services can be mediated by some kind of, here we go, the medium of exchange. Obviously, if there is a medium of exchange, you're not slave to it. I keep thinking of how stupid that song is. There's this song that makes me go, God, that song is stupid. I think I can say on this channel, I think I can say those words. This isn't going to be a video for kids. This isn't going to be a video series I could do for kids, where I'm going, that song has to go. It's like you're a slave to money until you die. You know, when there's somebody in the army who hears that song in their mind sometimes, I'm pretty sure, and I'm going, man, that song pisses me off because you're not a slave to the medium of exchange, because you're using a medium of exchange. What is wrong with it? What? I don't like hearing that song. As I associate it with threats of psychic warfare, frankly. I associate that song with threats of psychic attack. Was the one that goes, you're a slave to money till you die. And I'm going, I don't know. Does make me want to join the Grateful Dead right now. I mean, we you're not a slave to it if you need a medium of exchange. You're not a slave to it. It's just a medium of exchange you're using. Sorry, what's going on with you? Could use a different one. You could use... And I'm not prepared to demote everyone who works with precious metals or engages precious metal trade as a terrorist. I'll just say that as a person who doesn't interfere with non-capitalist thinking today. I mean, what would you say if I told you there's someone in our country who wants you to interfere in non-capitalist thinking? You know, obviously, where we all are in the marketplace of ideas is very important, and that's... Oh. So thinking about the Agarthans, to me, what I would call a Garthan seems totally peaceful with what I would call a Syrian. I don't ever feel like a Syrian is maneuvering toward them with like, why wouldn't the Syrian use like a mind control device where they could put on like your Syrian mind collar, I want to call it, and have like, well, you're a very under control Agarthan now. And it's like, there's never been a situation where I felt like an Agarthan's totally out of control. And having like a Syrian mind control device applied to them, I feel like the Syrians can exert like a telepathic influence where they can do psychic influencing possibly. And basically what I'm understanding is it's allowed for war drills to continue. That's the human marketplace of ideas, and that's the human marketplace of ideas. That's one reason. So I'm noticing what I call continued CE2 telepathic contact, where the telepathic awareness of the vehicle occupant as I'm recording. And I remember that's who I was yesterday. I'm so sorry. I'm really worried today how the Defense Intelligence Agency works, and so I want to wrap this up as I begin to consider, how does the Defense Intelligence Agency even work? I mean, where's the transparency in this, and where's the accountability to our public? Because if it's not a democratically elected, obviously it's not a democratically elected person at the Defense Intelligence Agency, if I'm concerned about who they are, or how the Defense Intelligence Agency functions, but how are they accountable to our public if it's like if it's an appointed person? How are the personnel accountable to our public? Because it can't just be, our secret group goes around everyone else at the Defense Intelligence Agency without any accountability to the public. You could have something like that without... I don't want to put Germany on the spot right now, but how could I separate Agarthans from Germany? Sometimes I associate Agarthans with psychic emanations of Germany and Germans, and they tell me that they're involved in Germany, in the Black Forest in particular. And one of my ancestors hails from the Black Forest area. So I'm from the Illinois Hess family. Maybe we should wrap this up for now.